Lovers of the beautiful game, welcome to another episode of Match Day Preview on Rosa TV. And this time it's Arsenal, or in fact, it's Brentford versus Arsenal at the Brentford Community Stadium. This preview comes, at a tricky time because it's been a couple of weeks where we didn't do any videos. It's been a couple of weeks where we didn't watch football in the Premier League because the passing of Queen Elizabeth II meant that the Premier League introduced a mourning period, postponed a couple of games, along with European games as well, so that they can sort out the resources of policing to organize the funeral of the Queen, right? But the good thing about this, perhaps for Arsenal, was that it came right at a time where we just lost the game, and the manner in which we lost that game probably could have, dented a little bit of our character, our spirit, and our confidence. And I hope that Arteta used this time to refocus this to, on the gents. Of course, there could be other arguments that the best thing after losing is to play immediately after, redeem yourself by winning a game so that you can get your confidence back. But I think that's a story for another day. A couple of issues, to discuss before I get into the preview around where Arsenal are at. We've got a couple of injuries that we knew we had. Partey, Zinchenko, El Neni before the United game, even, or before games before United. So none of them are going to be back. Of course, Thomas Partey has been seen training in the Arsenal video clips on YouTube. But the issue about it is that I don't think that Arsenal, in fact, I don't think Arteta should take the risk of bringing Partey back early. We don't necessarily desperately need him in a game against Brentford, and no disrespect to Brentford, but I think you've got to be able to calculate about this, because now you treat Thomas Partey like an egg, because that's what he is an egg. So what I think, there are two reasons why I think it's good to not play Partey. First is to give him enough time to recover completely, because of course I'm not a medical practitioner, but I do suspect that it's as if Partey doesn't recover completely from these things, and therefore, comes back and then has a niggle in the same area all the time. And then secondly, the other, positive that can come from it is that Sambi Lokonga will get more comfortable, is getting more game time, and therefore he'll come into his own. And so there's a benefit to giving Partey a rest and giving Lokonga more game time to get acquainted with the pace and power of the Premier League. And then I think importantly, what happened in the Man United game where we lost, the manner of that loss is something that I think many people take for granted, in terms of yes, because we played well, people think we are walking with our heads held high. But I don't think nansi into eyenzeka kula majita who are playing there. The guys who are playing there, the players, might not be walking with their heads held high, particularly because we went in with belief that we can win, but conceding 3 goals and losing 3-1 might have a particular mental dent. And so this is a perfect opportunity for Arsenal to try and bounce back and show that they have some sort of character. And this is the first time this is happening this season where we have lost and had to bounce back. And so this is an opportunity to test a different kind of character, other than the one where we sort of go in a game, concede first, and have to come back, which we did and proved against Fulham. But now it's sort of lose a game, go to the next game, win, and continue, and put that behind you. And so I think this is a perfect opportunity to do that. But also, what is fundamentally important in terms of my thinking around redeeming ourselves from the Man United loss, is to be able to not change the way we play, not change our beliefs, our philosophies, our personality, in as far as how Mikel Arteta wants to execute the game of football. Right? And so Brentford last season wasn't easy. We went there, we got beaten 2-0 the first game of the season. And of course, that was partly because we had COVID and all of those things. I mean, Balogun, Nketiah, and I think Reece Nelson started up front last season in that game. And so it tells you a particular kind of story, but it's not an excuse. And therefore, psychologically, that might be playing in the minds of Arsenal players, that we went there last season and we couldn't, do the business. So it is important for us to be able to take last season not as something that is going to limit us, but as a point that demands to be proven. And Arsenal has that opportunity to go there and impose themselves. But of course, it's not going to be easy. The Brentford Community Stadium is packed, 17,000 capacity. It's so intimate, and those home fans are going to be in your face, and it's going to be difficult for you to be able to impose yourself if you don't show, extra kind of character, which I think Arteta has been working on. And before I get into the starting 11 and the predicted, 11 for Arsenal, I just want to say, Mikel Arteta has won the Premier League Manager of the Month award for the August month. And the last time this happened, we went and lost 3 games on the trot. So this is not a good omen. I hope akuzokwenza kaloku bhanqa again up. And that this thing of the Manager of the Month, they must give it to other people. But of course, Arteta had a perfect record, and there was no better manager in the month of August. But we'll keep it there. The starting 11 for me, I think, it no longer chooses itself. It no longer picks itself at Arsenal anymore. There's a lot of reasons for that, and you guys will be able to discern this as I go through my starting 11. I'll go Aaron Ramsdale, Air Ramsdale, number one. He's had a couple of shaky moments, but I don't think that Matt Turner provides enough or competent competition for him for us to even be able to consider dropping him. I'd play Tomiyasu at right back. And hear this, it's because we've been leaking goals in a way that I am not comfortable with. The way in which we are conceding goals is not something that I think is needs to be taken for granted. We need to be able to show ourselves up at the back. And the best right back at the football club is Tomiyasu, both defending and also giving us that leeway to overlap and giving Saka the ability to cut in, to take away the defender, for him to be able to play the way he's comfortable playing. And then I'd play Ben White at centre back and Saliba. I'd give Gabriel a bit of a break because I think he's gone through a rough patch. And sometimes you need to protect a player not by continuing to play him, but rather by putting him on the bench and giving him that time to think about and that hunger, to rediscover the hunger. I'm watching now as I do this preview. I am disgusted watching Heung-min Son, brilliant footballer, but horrible football club he chose to play for. He's just scored a hat trick coming off the bench when people have been doubting him. But what Conte has done is that he's put him on the bench and said, you know what, I'm going to put you on the bench, young man, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give give you an opportunity to rediscover that hunger, and that has worked. At left back, of course, I'll do the Scottish legend Tierney, Kieran Tierney there, and it's the pivot in the midfield, Granit Xhaka, Sambi Lokonga, Odegaard up top, in the hole at 10. Martinelli on the right, Saka on the left. Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right, and Gabriel Jesus, the one man who gave his life for all of us to live. Jesus will be up top, and I predict Arsenal 2, Brentford 1. I am very precautious about this, but I think that will be the final score, and the scorers will be Jesus, Bukayo Saka, and for Brentford it will be Ivan Toney. Don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe. Coming to you all the way from the Twin Cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis in Minnesota. I'll be watching the game at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. In fact, I'll be watching these games early for the next 4 months, because I'll be in the United States for the next 4 months. But I promise to keep the content coming. Come on, Arsenal!